Okay, for my Equality for All Students presentation, I have chose to do all of my articles about technology that can help students feel equal. I'm a computer teacher, and with being a computer teacher, I obviously love technology and think it's great for all students. And so that's where my project was geared towards this. How can technology, or how can assistive technology or personalized learning with technology help students be more successful? So what I did was, my first article was Assistive Technology in the Digital Age. Assistive technology is defined as any piece of equipment or product system, whether acquired commercially, off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of children with disabilities. So more or less, it's anything that can help students. And that definition actually came from the Individuals with Disability Act of Education from Congress. And teachers should be using commonly available technology to help students with disabilities to be successful in achieving Common Core standards, meaning that they should have some kind of tool that helps them actually meet the needs of Common Core standards. Writing. So how can students, what kind of technology is out there to help students write if they can't physically type? And if they can't hear, to understand or communicate with the teacher to make sure that the teacher understands what technology is out there that's available. The next bullet is the source of the article. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my second article, and then I'll talk about the challenges with assistive technology. My second article is Build an Assistive Technology Toolkit. So it's all about finding the tools out there that you can use in your room that are available. It talks about a lot of free resources, because we all know in education funding is always a problem. And so it's talking about what free tools are out there. It also gives an insight of how to work with the IT department and how to get the IT department to help you set up this toolkit so it works functionally. So challenges of assistive technology. Students with disabilities are treated unequally, meaning that because they can't hear, they're obviously, shunned or set off to the side, because the teacher can't get through to them anyway, so they're set off to the side. Or students with physical disabilities aren't in the mainstream classrooms because there aren't tools to help them. And so that's what assistive technology can do, is actually help that challenge not be so much of a challenge. Teachers have an outdated view of what the definition of assistive technology is there. They don't necessarily know what is out there that's available. Technology changes so fast, and unless you're keeping up to date with it every year, you won't know what's available. I know I have that challenge, and I see that on a daily basis in the school I work at. There are teachers that refuse to know what new technology is available and refuse to learn it because they're like, oh, well, I'm going to retire in the next couple years. Why do I need to use it now? I've been teaching 15, 20 years already. It's been working just fine. Why do I need more technology to help me do this and reach these students? The third challenge is just knowing what's available. Sometimes we just don't have knowledge of what's out there. We just have to try to find it and locate it and read articles about it and find another teacher who may be using it and see how it actually works. Accessibility to technologies. We may just not have the funds to be able to get it. We may not have the ability to find it. The school may block it, so you have to work with your IT department, and working with an IT department can be very challenging because they're not in the school every day. They don't work with students every day. They don't know what really does help, what doesn't help. They're just doing the job of making sure the equipment works. They don't know what actually helps the students every day unless they're there helping them. And so teachers and IT departments really need to communicate and communicate clearly what they need done to make it work so the students can be successful. How Assistive Technology Toolkit provides equality for all students. What it gives all students with disabilities a chance to feel normal. Somebody that has a hearing disability, they are able to actually plug in a piece of technology and communicate with their teacher saying, okay, well, I really do understand this, or Miss, I don't get this at all. Can you help me or explain it differently? And what it does is there's different types of assistive technology available that all students have access to. So if all students have access to them, obviously it's going to help make all students feel equal because they all have access to it. And that's applications on tablets or smartphones, computers, and then the websites. There are several websites out there that help students that anybody can get to. And if everybody can get to them, then that means that there's equality for all the students that are available. Even if they don't have disabilities, maybe some of these other tools will help them learn and be successful as well. Some AT or assistive technology tools on your operating system of your actual computer, which is magnification. You can have an on-screen keyboard. There can be a narrator or a voiceover. So like the smartphones, or there is a program on the computer because one of my students found it one day, that anything that you roll over with the mouse, the computer will tell you what it is. There's speech recognition, so you can actually talk into the microphone and tell it, okay, I need to go to Adobe Photoshop, and it will, open Photoshop. You can change the text size or zoom in to the, make the screen appear larger. There's personalization, there's keyboard shortcuts. So if they can't use all the keys, maybe they know what keys are available to get them to where they need to. Visual and sound notifications, captions, mouse keys, depending on what they need, there's some kind of availability for them. Leaders in assistive technology. More or less what leaders need to know is what is available, what tools or devices are available, and what applications and programs are available. Once you have that, then you need to figure out how to get access. Once you figure out how to get access, whether it's using the web and you talk to the IT department and you get it unblocked, or you have it on a tablet, there's an app on a tablet and the student has a tablet, or we just break down and we purchase the software and get teachers trained on how to use it. And those are the big things that leaders need to know about assistive technology. Myself in Assistive Technology Toolkit, what I use is Google Translate. Google Translate helps me communicate with my ELL students, and I just recently started using that because the ELL paras had been telling me that they allow the students to use Google Translate, and it actually works. When I need to communicate just briefly with the student and say, okay, I'll type it out in Google Translate, translate it to their language, and then they understand and they can tell me in what little English they know yes or no, they have it or they don't. And then we can try again. I also do lecture videos, so every student can work at their own pace. I used Screencast-O-Matic to actually record all of my lessons for every class that I teach. So that way, if a student needs more time, they can work on it as long as they need. I set a deadline. I say, okay, this whole unit needs to be done by Friday, and they start on Monday. They can work at their own pace to get it done, and if they need to, they know that they can come in after school and get the help that they need, as well as they use their class time wisely. There's a couple others that I use. I have different videos that I use on my iPad that I can put up, and it shows the students a different way. And all of these assistive technology, how it provides equality for all students is all students are working at their own pace or their own language, and they're able to communicate back and forth with me whether or not they're understanding it. And if they're working at their own pace, I answer questions as I can when I go around the classroom. And so students with disabilities or with special needs, you don't know that they are really actually in the classroom, whereas before students that with special needs would have paras with them. When I have students in my classroom with special needs, they don't necessarily have a para. They can work at their own pace, and I've talked with the para on a special plan of, okay, how do I make sure that they've got the material without them knowing, without the other students knowing that anything has been changed. And they work, and they actually work at their own pace and show me what they've learned as they go through the lessons, and it works out very well. And so I've seen more learning occurring that way for all of my students. So it does make my classes a lot more equal, whereas I'd have the slow ones slowing down the fast ones, and then the fast ones would get bored and distract the slow ones, and then no learning was ever getting done. But with the video lectures, definitely this has been the main one to help me provide equality for all of my students. The last article that I did was over can learning be too personalized? And I agree with the yes and the no. Yes, the side saying that all information available to us is personalized based on what we search on the internet, which is true. If we go out to the internet and we put in a Google search, it's obviously going to show us just what we want because Google knows who we are, especially if we're signed in. And depending on if you use the same computer every day, it'll remember your searches and things like that. The no of can it be too personalized is personalized learning gives us the ability to learn the information how we want to learn it. And I agree with that because I was one that would take what the teacher taught me and then also turn it around and change it to make it so I understood it. There were several days in math where I would have to stop. Okay, is there a different way to do this? And I'd learn it that way, and I'd still came up with the same answer. So that's how I agree with both sides. But for learning purposes, I do believe that it can't be too personalized. Some challenges of personalized learning is that it focuses too much on the individual. It pulls away from the relationships and there's no collaboration. I disagree with the no collaboration part because if you can find students in your class, if you have personalized learning, not everybody learns the same way, but we have similarities. And what we can do is with collaboration is we can pull the similarities and actually put them together to work on a project. And they can do one project together the way that they want to, and a different group can do it how they want to. And then as far as relationships, I know in my classroom what I do is I spend the first week just getting to know my students. I want to know what they know from previous classes. I want to know how they learn. And by doing little projects every day, it shows me what they know and how they learn and how they go about learning. And then I think you can still have the relationships, but these are some challenges that can be faced with personalized learning. Meeting the needs of students. So, personalized learning for all. Personalized learning for all allows the needs of the students. So it's right there. If the students are being met by their standards and how they want to be taught, then all of the students are getting the same information just in a way that they want to be taught and how they want to learn it. So the students aren't stressed by time, or they're not stressed by, well, I don't understand how the teacher says it. Well, then that's the only way I can understand it. That's not necessarily true. There are many different ways that the information can come across, and the students know how they learn best. So even students with disabilities know how they learn and how they want to learn. And so it's a matter of getting in and letting them choose how they want to learn the information. Now they may need to help guiding or actually interpreting the information so that they can bring it down to their level, but the information is always there for them. Leaders in personalized learning. Students in different locations, so it can be a challenge because your students can be in many different locations. It removes teacher-student relationships, and it's a balancing act. Teachers need, or leaders need, to know their students and know what pace they're going at. So yes, it is a challenge, and I have this challenge in my classroom because of doing the video lectures like I have. It's kind of a way of personalized learning, but it's on a different scale. And when they're all in different places at the lecture, it's hard to tell exactly what they're trying to do. But if you just take a moment before you start freaking out about where they're at, you can figure it out pretty easily, and they can tell you and show you and ask you questions. And it doesn't necessarily remove the student-teacher relationships. The teacher has to take the time before learning starts occurring in the classroom to get to know the students and build those relationships. So when the students are learning and having problems with how they're learning it, the teacher will know, okay, I know how to get across to the student what they need. And a balancing act is just knowing, okay, how is our pace going to be, as well as that we make sure that we get all of the information in for this semester. So I think to conclude the video, I think that students, to feel equal, whether it's race or gender or anything, I think if you give them technology or let them learn the way that they want to learn, you will get equality for all students, because the students are getting the information just how they want to. And if they're allowed to use technology, then the technology that they're using allows them to get the information that they want to in the way that they want to.